Okay. Hello. Today I'd like to talk about the migration from Google+. Now that there's all this talk about immigration here, immigration there, let's talk about immigrating from Google+ over to somewhere else. As probably everybody now who's listening to this now knows, that Google+ is shutting down the public version of Google+ at the end of March, beginning of April, somewhere in that time frame. And obviously, all of the stuff that you had on your public-facing Google+ is going to be gone. And by public-facing, what I mean is that if you were using Google+ as part of G Suite, which is Google's paid version of basically like Office-like apps that they have, and Google+ as well, then you don't have to worry about that. They're not shutting that down. But if you were just simply using regular Google account, Gmail account, Google account, however you want to refer to it, it's actually a Google account that you're not paying for, then that's going to go away. There's not going to be any Google+ past March, April of this year. So with that being the case, everybody's trying to figure out what they want to do with existing content. Obviously, the easiest thing to do is just to say, we're done, start somewhere fresh, which is not a bad thing, actually. You know, starting fresh is always gives you opportunity to right the wrongs of the past and, you know, go the other way. But the deal is, thanks to my sister for this t-shirt, the deal is that for a lot of us, including myself, there's a lot of content that we procured over the years that we really don't want to lose necessarily. We want to move it somewhere. And so there've been some talk about some utilities from people like Friends Plus Me that allows you to export the data from Google+ into I'm not sure what they export it into, just files, or if it's just CSV files or some other kind of files. And then supposedly I'm assuming you'd be able to import it into something like WordPress site, or something like that, some kind of database potentially. Those are okay, but they're obviously nothing great, nothing to write home about, because yes, you're able to save potentially your content, but if you think about it, I mean, Google itself allows you to export your content from Google+ using Google Takeout. They have this service called Google Takeout, which allows you to save all the information from Google+ into some files that you can have. The problem is where you're going to put them afterwards. It's if you just want to keep them and look at them in whatever format they're in, then fine, you can do it with Google Takeout and you're done. But the idea, of course, for most people would be to take whatever content you had and migrate it somewhere else, put it somewhere where other people can see it, obviously. In other words, create something similar to what Google+ was. And so there are a number of social media platforms out there, obviously Facebook being the biggest, something that I personally don't like, a lot of people don't like and don't use. And so, one way to move your social home, if you will, you could do it to Facebook and do it that way. There's tons of people there and so on and so forth. If you don't want Facebook, then you have, a number of other platforms out there. Like one of them, for example, the one I found most compelling is called MeWe. MEWE.com. And I'll share a little example of that shortly here. Google Plus and G Suite is another. I mean, that would be a way to put information out there that would be with practically no changes to the way you're using it, because it's still the same old Google Plus. So in terms of data, if Google provides some utility, which I haven't seen yet, but maybe they're working on one, that allows you to import the data into Google+. Let's take the takeout data that they create when you export from existing Google+, and then import it into Google+ on your G Suite account. Then that would be nice, because then you could just easily move everything over. It will look the same. It will work the same. You don't have to relearn anything, and everything will be hunky-dory, with one huge exception. And the huge exception is what you cannot move, what you cannot export and import are the people. I mean, after all, it's a social network. In social network, the big deal about social networks is you have other people you interact with, you deal with. this is something, there's nothing you can do about that. You cannot tell people or force people to move along with you wherever you're moving. And because there's going to be this huge mass extinction of Google Plus and its content, everybody's going to run away like mice in all the different directions. Some people may follow you, that really like you and they want to interact with you to wherever you decide to go. But the likelihood of all of them moving exactly where you're moving are pretty slim to pretty much non-existent. So since you can't control what other people are going to do, the only thing you really need to worry about is, what do I do with my own content? Do I want to move it? Do I want to start fresh? Do I want to move part of it? Those are the decisions you need to make. And then once you decide what you want to do, the next step would be to say, I'm going to move it to here, or I'm going to move some of it here and some of it there. Like in my case, I'm going to be moving some of my business stuff to the Google Plus on G Suite side, because it makes sense. G Suite is supposed to be for businesses, and so it makes sense to have my business presence there. And also it will make it fairly easy to relatively easy, not that easy, but relatively easy to have the same content there. I don't think I'm going to move everything, but I'm going to move some stuff there. And then some of my other stuff, like some of my communities and collections that I did for personal stuff, those are all going to go on MeWe. And I'm also going to put some business stuff in there too. I'm kind of still figuring out exactly what I'm going to put where. And so with that being the case, again, some people may follow me. I already had some people from Google Plus that interacted with me on MeWe, for example. And I just started setting up and moving stuff yesterday, literally. And I'm going to be doing it, over time, because one thing you don't want to do is leave everything to the last moment. And here comes March, and next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, they're shutting down next week. I don't have anything. You quickly do the Google takeout, but then you don't have anything anywhere to put it. So you need to kind of plan and do things now. That would be my recommendation, and then start migrating accordingly using whatever tools you have available right now, which are not much. Okay, I know, like I said, some people got excited about what friends and me are doing and putting things into WordPress installations, but even if you put it in WordPress, what's that? WordPress is basically a blogging platform, and so you can have people join you in terms of commenting on your blogs and things like that, but it's not like Google Plus in terms of social interaction, or in terms of trying to find. I mean, one of the big things about Google Plus was being able not only to find people, but also to find all kinds of content you're interested in and topics you're interested in. And the only thing you're going to have in your WordPress install is the stuff you did. You're not going to copy anybody else's stuff in there, most likely. So with that, it's not the best approach. In other words, you're not switching from one to the other. You're basically just simply copying some of the stuff you had, and people are not most likely going to be coming to look at whatever you're doing there. Most people anyway. So I think finding a social network would be a better approach. And like I said, from what I've seen on this MeWe platform, right now, in my opinion, looking at different options that are out there, I think they have the best chance of succeeding to actually try to bring the Google Plus experience on their platform. And hopefully they'll be able to survive, and hopefully things will work out. But it's like any other migration situation. We left the Soviet Union and came here. Everything was hunky-dory, and then you know what happened then in terms of what's happening right now. So I won't get into the politics. I'm not going to do that. But I'm just going to say that things definitely are not the same as when we came here. Not even thinking about moving anywhere else. America is still the country, but at the same time, it's not the same thing. And so, this is why people move from place to place, is because they don't like what they have wherever they are at. So they want to go somewhere where there are greener pastures, so to speak. And so it's the same thing with this stuff here too. We need to move somewhere where it's going to do what we're trying to do, so we can have a decent experience interacting with other people, and also be able to find stuff and things like that. So without further ado, let me show you a quick example of what I'm talking about. And if you have any questions later on, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer them. So let me just jump into the screen here. And as you can see, I'm doing this on Zoom. I'm not doing this on Hangouts because I'm disappointed with Google for many things. Not to the point of divorcing them completely, but certainly disappointed. I'm not a diehard Google fan I used to be when we started this thing back in 2011. But again, water under the bridge, moving on here. So here's an example, as you can see, of MeWe post that I'm posting in every one of my collections. That's one thing I'm doing, saying that this stuff is going to move to MeWe. And I pinned this to the collection, like this is my collection of, I call my Cloud Wars trophies from, pictures that won Sky King title, as was put together by the folks who are running Cloud Wars, initially started by David Amerland. And so my photos that won when I became Sky King for a day, I have them all in this collection, so it's not too much stuff, and I want to move it over. So I'm going to move it to MeWe, and so I'm telling everybody that I'm moving it, and it's going to be going, all my pictures are going to be tagged, but I'm going to merge them together. So in other words, I decided not to have all these different like pages or collections, because MeWe doesn't have collections per se at this point, but they do have tags, and makes it very easy to segregate things by tags and then find things by tags. So I'm using that approach. So I'm not gonna I'm just gonna show you basically. I think it'll make it easier. So these are the posts here in Google Plus, as you can see. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump into MeWe. Let me see if I can locate it right there. And as you can see, MeWe already set up a what they call a group called Snapshots and Vids, where I'm going to be posting my personal photos and videos. And as you can see, I already posted some things in there. And so just going to show you an example. As you can see, the look of it is different in Google+. Somewhat similar, but different. First of all, you can see there's only one picture per column here. They don't have multiple columns here. They have all kinds of different additional things on the sides that are both helpful and useful, but at the same time different. And so, initially it'll take you a little bit to get used to, but it's not bad at all. So what they have, instead of communities, they have these things called groups. And so in terms of groups, like I'm looking at the groups that I've set up so far, and I have this one right now, Snapshots and Vids. I have my music community that I'm moving also from Google+. I had about 1,600 members. So I'm moving it to here as well. And but right now, let's just do this Snapshots and Vids so you can see what I'm talking about. So basically, set up a group, and then in the group here, you just create a post. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you right now that's extremely good about this particular service is it's relatively quick in terms of speed. It's got a bunch of features, including events, which you can see you can have events here as part of the particular group. So I'm assuming it's going to tie them together. You can do search within the group. You can just look at photos and videos for the group. You can look at members. There's a number of features in MeWe already that are even a little bit nicer than Google+. Obviously, some functionality a little bit is missing, but mostly it's actually better than Google+ in terms of features. And I'll do a separate video about all the different features, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but I just want to show you one huge thing. I mean huge, huge, huge in my view, is that whenever I wanted to post something in Google+ in terms of photos, it had to come from typically either from my drive, which of course is a little bit of a hassle to upload and everything else, or from Google Photos, which is okay unless you switch accounts. If I have like two different Google accounts, if I switch to the second one, it has no idea about my photos from my first account. And I understand why they did it, but at the same time, it was a hassle to post that way. The beauty about MeWe and pictures, which I haven't seen anybody talk about, but believe me, it's a huge, huge benefit in terms of moving things, is that what I can do is I can jump into my collection here, and let's say on this particular post here, I'll just pull up this post. One thing I'm not doing is I'm not moving any comments. As you can see, like this particular post had 14 comments, not moving any comments. All I'm doing is I'm grabbing the text. Most of these in this particular collection are, it just says the word Cloud Wars, which you're supposed to have, hashtag, which I'm going to use, but everything else I don't really care about, just the photo. So you click on the photo, it opens it up, right? And then at this point in time, if you're sitting in the wrong Google account, you wouldn't be able to simply just move it somewhere or do something. You have to download it and then re-upload it to the other place, which is a bit of a hassle. Here, all I have to do is I can just take the photo and I can, 1 second. All I have to do is right-click on the photo, click on the copy image option. I'm running Windows here, by the way. Okay, and then I jump into my MeWe tab right there, and I click on post to this group, and all I have to do is just simply Control V to paste it. And now my picture has been automatically moved right into this post. So that's, like I said, the huge thing that Google Plus did not have is the ability to simply copy and paste imagery from one place to another. This network does allow you to do it, and I think it's going to be a huge time saver when you do your migration. So I simply add, you can see you can use the hashtags to add hashtags. So I'm going to create a hashtag called Cloud Wars. Use the same thing as before. Click on create it. It automatically sticks it in it. I could use additional hashtags too. It doesn't have to be just one, but for now, this is all I need really. And also notice that when they show hashtags, they show you how many pictures you already have, not pictures, but posts you have with that particular hashtag. So it's kind of cool to see the totals too. And then that's all I'm going to put in here. So I'm just going to put share. And now I have my photo in the post. As simple as that. Okay. Did I screw this up? No, I think I'm okay. The quality of the actual photos is not quite as good as on Google Plus. As you can see, if I click on it, it opens up of that size, and then you can see there's a little bit of stuff at the top at the bottom because it's depending on the kind of photo you have, it will determine how much it will show. But the bottom line is that you can't really open it any kind of larger or anything. You can click on edit, and I don't really want this, which allows you to edit the text. You can share it, you can add emojis, you can add a comment, but other than that, you can't really do anything else. So that's one of the negatives about using photos here, is that they're kind of smallish. If I click on this picture here, you can see it's much larger. So it depends obviously on the size you're using, that they'll figure out how much of it you can see. But even when you look at the quality between this and Google Plus does show quality a little bit better. So then I jump into my next photo, and I right click, copy image, jump back into here, post, paste, and then click on hashtags, select Cloud Wars, share, and I'm done. And so that's how I'm able to create posts basically. And of course I could add text if I wanted to, using this service. And then of course it's all available by, people can search for it, people can look at it, people can essentially join this group, and you have full control over who can do what. People can post their own stuff to that too if you allow them. You can change it on an individual level where they can look and they can comment, or they can just look, or they can just comment, or they can post. So it's very nicely done in terms of the security setup for the thing, and they did a really good job. I mean, kudos to MeWe people. Definitely did a nice job. And then of course you have the whole thing with notifications, where you can control what you get notified about, when, and so on. And you have full search, and on and on and on. So it's still work in progress for these people, but so far I haven't seen any major bugs or where the thing just fails to operate. And it's nice. It's definitely a nice service. And if I wanted to, for example, just to show you another example, if I wanted to go and copy, let's set up another thing I'm going to be moving here is, let's see, it'll be a good one. No, Beatles would be similar, same kind of deal here. So I'm not really going to show you that. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is if you're copying some kind of collection that has actual posts with text in it, let's as an example use my education thing, because I think I'm going to post all that too. So example would be where you have a bunch of text. Like over here, for example, this thing here. As you can see from this post, it has more text than just visible, so you can click on it to open it. That's the first thing you should do. And then what I do is I just simply copy, drag and copy the text that's there, and then I drop that into the post. I'm gonna post it here. I'm gonna delete it later just so I want to show you. So I click Control V, it drops the text in there, and then I go and need to get into the right. Okay, and then I go into the actual content here. So it's a link to an article. I just right click, copy link address, and then I jump back and paste it here. And when I paste it, obviously it drops it in there. So not obviously, but it does. And then I can get rid of the link if I want to, or I can leave it in there. It's, you know, whatever, however you want to format it. And then if I wanted to make this bold, things like that, you can actually have some controls where you can do something like this, and then select bold. As you can see, you can, you know, it's got a little bit nicer thing than Google Plus, where you don't have to use like stars and underscores to make things italic and things like that. You know, it's like Markdown. This one you can actually select, and if you want it to be italicized, you know, you just select whatever you want italicized and italicize it. It'll look like this. Okay, so but very basic. You know, you have the strike through, italics, and bold, and then the article is there, and that's it. So once if I you know add any hashtags, I could add whatever the hashtag. You know, this would be education, and that's it. And then I share it, and so once you share it, it looks like this. As you can see, it looks basically very similar to the Google Plus post. If you click on it, it opens up a new tab, goes right to that page. Links, as you can see, automatically. Notice I didn't do anything; it automatically stuck it in there. So it looks like this, and you know, theoretically, you could copy. One thing you could do is you can also copy the comments, and this particular thing here doesn't really have a lot of comments. Well, right here. So let's assume we take these comments here. So you can see this particular post has some comments. So what you can do is you can then take the comments and just drag the cursor throughout all the comments. Unfortunately, it'll highlight everything, including the names. And you copy that, and then you drop it back in there. And down in the comments here, you can put in comment. Now, it's not going to be the same people, obviously, because these people are not even on Google Plus potentially. And you might have to do some reformatting if you want. And, you know, it just depends how much information you want to transfer. If you wanted to do it, you could do it. If you don't want to do it, obviously, you don't have to do it. But once it's there, then you'll have your comment, you have your post, you have everything you need. Okay? So that's kind of the process. You just basically copy and paste for a lot of this stuff to get the information transferred. I realize it's definitely a hassle. I'm not saying it's not. And I realize it would be nice to be able to just move all the stuff over. But I haven't heard of anything MeWe is doing right now. Maybe they are. Maybe they will come up with some tool that allows you to take your Google takeout exported data and then import it to MeWe. And in that case, you can just load it right into, you know, just set up some groups, aka communities, and then drop them in there, and there you go. You can also have pages in this thing. So you have groups, you have chats, which is a big difference with Google Plus, because you can have chats on the group level to interact with people in that particular group or community. You can interact with individuals also if they are your contacts. They call them contacts. So if you add somebody as your contact and they accept, then you can actually chat with them directly. And when you chat with somebody, it just opens up, you know, like a chat window like that. And if you go to a group chat with a bunch of people, it looks like this, which is pretty nice. Then you can create a new chat here. Also, you can have pages. So like here's my PCS page. And you can set up, you know, a nice looking cover if you want. You can put some information about what it's about here, and you can edit these different fields. Post-wise, you can obviously copy articles and videos and, everything you want to do there, you can do that. One nice thing about the chat, if you notice when I was talking to Mark, my buddy Mark Barris there, is if I go to chat with him, we'll open up chat, just quickly show you that. One thing you can do at the top here, notice it's got audio and video capability. So you can actually make a phone call using audio right from here and do voice chat, or you can actually do full video chat like a Hangout in the old days, which is really cool to be able to do that kind of stuff. In terms of multiple people, I don't know how it works. I don't know how many people you can crank in there, but clearly, they allow you to have, if you go to, for example, group chat like here, yeah, then you don't have the capabilities to call or do video. Okay, so it's only for individuals, but it's still cool because, obviously Google Plus didn't have anything built in like that in current version. So like the business stuff is right there, and also you have the hashtags, and I was surprised that there's no tie-in to events. And so this is kind of like your page going to people. They can follow you here, and they can see your content, they can comment, but so similar to Google Plus pages, in other words. I just wish they would add events. Maybe they will at some point in time. Because in groups, you actually have events too. And you can have events separately completely too. But other than that, it's pretty nice the way they've done it. The only thing about pages is if you want to add additional pages, first page they'll let you add, you don't need to do anything special. But if you add any additional pages, let's say click on add a page, it comes up, they charge $3 per month, $2.99 per month to host additional pages. It's called the premium feature. So they do have some of these features that are premium. I don't know what else like. One of the things I do know they do is the backgrounds. Like, for example, they have a dark theme that you can use on mobile, and there's cost involved with that if you want to use that dark theme. So, which is totally fine. I mean, there's no reason these people should not be getting paid for providing this kind of service. I mean, I always maintain that, Google, we shouldn't be mad at Google for doing whatever they're doing with Google Plus, because we're not paying anything for it, and we've never paid anything for it. So now I'm going to be a lot more demanding of what they're doing on Google Plus on the G Suite side, because we are paying for that, and they should get paid for it. I mean, there's no reason why I should be running it for free. I mean, it's a nice, useful service, and whatever they can do to make it better, awesome. But at the same time, we definitely should be like anything else in life. You get what you pay for. So we didn't pay for Google Plus for many years, and now it's going away. And the only thing I'm sure we're going to hear from Google is sorry, but that's the way it is. And so I actually like the fact that these people charge for some things, although you can easily use it for free if you don't utilize things like multiple pages, things like that. And they will get paid, and they will continue to improve things like that. So anyway, definitely so far pretty impressed with MeWe. You also have this, if you click on home, you have this personal feed, as they call it, which allows you to just type in. It has nothing to do with any collections or groups or anything like that. It just strictly deals with just personal posts, kind of like a fire hose of posts that you yourself can do. And they will, right now, it's only people who follow you and who you follow, but they are talking about doing a public feed where you'll be able to have stuff with other people as well. And so that's coming, from what I just heard or read somewhere. And they have it in multiple languages here. Don't have Russian yet, but not that they care, but they don't have Russian, but they have German, looks like Spanish, French, Chinese, Portuguese, some other Japanese, I'm assuming. Anyway, definitely have English. So that's the MeWe deal. And like I said, it may not look as nice as Google Plus in many ways, the layout and functionality. In some ways, it's better than Google Plus. But the bottom line is this is something you can actually migrate to that hopefully these people will continue to maintain and continue to stay in business. If you decide to go to somewhere else, Facebook, you can use a very similar approach to what I showed you to post stuff on Facebook. If you're just going to be copying, pasting, with pictures, you will not be able to do it. but you can always download it and then upload it to Facebook using that approach. And then your text, you just copy paste text and everything. So you can essentially, using this approach, you can move your content to just about any platform you want. If you want to drop it into whatever service that you find that you like, you can use this approach I just showed to move information just about anywhere. Just like I said, be mindful of the fact that it's going to take you a while if it's a huge collection. And I would definitely recommend, taking some time to consider, do you really want to move everything? Okay, and because if it's everything, it's going to take a long time. You may totally run out of time doing that. So that's one thing to consider. Second thing to consider is the size of your articles you're moving, because Google Plus, always gave you ample place for text. Other services do not. I mean, many other services don't. I haven't run into this problem with MeWe. I don't know what their limit is, but I know, for example, on Facebook, you definitely have a limit. It's much smaller than Google Plus was. So be careful that you don't get cut off that way. And if you're trying to do something like, you can't really do Twitter, but if you decided to do Twitter, migrate to Twitter and forget all your text, because you're not moving any text there with their limit of whatever they have now, 280 characters or however, whatever the new limit is definitely nothing compared to Google Plus. Any other services, you have to kind of look at all of that stuff to figure it out. But do also consider the situation with what I mentioned about the people themselves. Like right now, like I said, in every single collection that I'm thinking of migrating to, I'm putting in this link right there, put in the post and pinned it to the collection saying, this thing is going to be going away. So if you want to follow this, find me over there. And so people can have an easy way to just simply click on a link here, and it takes them right to the place where they can join this particular group. And then, of course, once they join it, then they can follow it and they can comment and they can even post in some cases in some of my collections. I mean, groups, communities. So basically wide open that way. And you can do the same thing. Just tell people where you're going and then invite them to come and join. Make it as simple for them as possible to join. And then have them participate. And hopefully the people you really care about, the people you have done a lot of interaction with, hopefully will follow you. And then hopefully they will establish their own presence there too. And the immigration thing will get established and done. And you won't be 100% like you used to be, but close. And for those who want to continue with the Google Plus experience and they don't want to change anything, and the people are willing in their community to move and migrate over to the G Suite side, that would be the easiest thing to do that way. I hope Google will come out with some kind of import capability, and then it'll be really easy to just do a Google Takeout export and then go do G Suite Google Plus import, and then everything will look the same, everything will work the same, and then all you need to do is just have those other people also join to be able to have the same capabilities, also have G Suite. And like I said, Google is going to start getting paid for it because all these people are going to be paid members. And so with that, hopefully they'll continue to improve Google Plus and add additional features and things like that. So that's my initial migration story. I will definitely get into a lot more details on this MeWe, since I'm going to be using it fairly extensively, and make more videos about that. If you have any questions, please leave them. For now, you can certainly leave them with me on Google+. If you do jump over to MeWe in some way, then certainly you can reach me there. And with that, hope everybody's having a good, happy New Year. And that is the deal.